The purpose of this speech is to tell a folk tale. To use techniques learned throughout his previous speeches and to heighten the drama. This speech is going to be 12 to 15 minutes. Please welcome Edwin Tang, the title of his speech, The Frog Princess, Edwin Tang.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. I have a folk tale to share with you tonight. How many of you have heard of the Frog Prince? You know the frog that once he gets kissed, becomes a prince? That's not the tale I'm telling you. I came across a tale called The Frog Princess. It's actually a Russian folk tale from Russia. And I found it far more exciting than The Frog Prince. It goes something like this. In a faraway kingdom, once upon a time, there was a king. He had 3 sons. And when his sons came of age, the king asked them, "My lads, when are you going to get married so that I may see my grandchildren before I die?" And they said, "My liege, give us your blessing. Who will you have us marry?" And the king thought, why don't you each take a bow and arrow out into the courtyard and shoot the arrow into town. And where the arrow lands, there your destiny awaits. So his sons followed his instructions, shot the arrow. The arrow of the first son landed in the courtyard of a nobleman's house. And the daughter of the nobleman picked up the arrow. The arrow from the second son landed in the courtyard of a merchant's house. And the daughter of that merchant picked up the arrow. The arrow of the third son, Prince Ivan, landed, he didn't know where. He spent days walking around town looking for his arrow until he finally walked into a marsh outside of town. And there he saw a frog sitting on a leaf with the arrow in its mouth. And Prince Ivan said, "Come on, frog, give me back my arrow." And the frog said, "Marry me. It's your destiny." How can I marry a frog? But not knowing what else to do, he took the frog home. And so there were 3 great weddings in the kingdom. The first prince and the nobleman's daughter, the second prince and the merchant's daughter, and Prince Ivan and the frog. Now after the weddings, the king said to all sons, "Have your wives make me a shirt for tomorrow. I shall see who is the best with the needle." So they all went back and told their wives. Prince Ivan went back to his chamber, slumped in the corner, looked depressed, and the frog hopped up to him and said, "Prince Ivan, why are you so upset?" He said, "Oh, my father wants you to make a shirt for him tomorrow, but how are you going to make a shirt? You're a frog." So the frog said, "Don't worry, my dear Ivan. Go to bed. Night is the mother of counsel. I shall take care of it." So the prince was depressed, and he said, "Oh, what the heck, I'll just go to bed anyway." So as soon as he fell asleep, the frog unzipped this big zipper down its belly, slipped out of its frog skin, and became Vasilia, this fair maiden, which was beautiful. And she clapped her hands, and a bunch of servants appeared, and she said, "Maids and servants, get ready, work steady. We have to make a shirt for my husband for tomorrow." And they got to work. The next morning, Prince Ivan wakes up. On his table in his room is a shirt, embroidered in gold and silver trim, a lovely shirt. So in his excitement, he took the shirt, ran to the king's court, where his other 2 brothers were already presenting their shirts. And the king grabbed the first shirt from the first prince and said, "Ah, this is very nice. This shall do for one of my servants." Grabbed the second shirt. Not bad. But this is only good for the bathhouse." Prince Ivan gave him his shirt. He said, "Oh, well, now this is what I call a shirt. I shall only wear it on the finest occasions." And he was delighted. And the other 2 brothers said, "Looks like we laughed at Prince Ivan for nothing. Looks like this frog is not just a frog, but a sorceress." And the king said to the 3 sons, "Have your wives make me a loaf of bread for tomorrow. I shall see who is the best cook." So they went back, and again, Prince Ivan slumped his shoulders in the corner of his room in depression because... And then his wife, the frog, hopped to him. "My dear Ivan, why are you so upset? You're so depressed." He said, "Oh, my dad wants you to make him a loaf of bread for tomorrow." "How are you going to make a loaf of bread? You're a frog." And again, she said, "My dear Ivan, go to bed. Don't worry. I shall take care of it. Night is the mother of counsel." Not knowing what else to do, just went to bed. And again, however, this time, the frog knew that the wives of the other two princes had suspected that she was a sorceress. And in fact, they were outside the window right now spying on her, seeing what she was going to do. So, in her cleverness, she just kneaded the dough, lifted the cover of the stove, and dumped the dough into the naked fire, and it just charred. Slapped it back down. The two wives saw him and said, we're going to go back and do the same thing. If it works for the frog, it's going to work for us. So they went back and did that. As soon as they left, she unzipped this big zipper down her belly, slipped out of her frog skin, became Vasilia again, a maiden fair beyond compare. Servants, we need to make a loaf of bread for my husband for tomorrow. They got to work for real. And the next morning, Prince Ivan woke up. On his table is a loaf of bread, a beautiful, fragrant, aromatic loaf of bread with patterns of castles and gardens on the side, just a beautiful work of art. In his excitement, he picked it up, took it to the king's court where the other two brothers were already presenting their loaves of bread. And the king picked up the first loaf of bread from the first son, and it was a blackened, charred piece of dough. He said, take it away. Second piece of bread, saying anything, take it away. Third piece of bread, Prince Ivan gives it to the king. He said, now this is what I call bread. I shall only eat it on the holidays. And he was delighted. Then he said to his sons, bring your wives to dinner tonight. We shall have a great time. And then the first prince said to Prince Ivan, so Ivan, where did you meet your wife? She's so beautiful. And the second prince said to Ivan, yeah, you must have looked really hard in the marshes for her. So Ivan just rolled his eyes, went back to his room, sat in the corner, slumped his shoulders in depression, and his wife hopped up to him. Prince Ivan, twice you have asked me, and twice I have delivered without fail, yet you still have no faith in me. Why are you so upset? He said, well, my dad wants me to bring you to dinner tonight, but how am I going to bring you to dinner? You're a frog. Everyone's going to laugh at me. And the frog said, Ivan, go first. You go first. When you hear a loud knock on the door, just tell everyone, it's only your froggy riding in her box. So the prince didn't know what to do, just went to dinner by himself. And the first prince saw him say, so Ivan, where's your bride? Why didn't you bring her to dinner? And the second son said, yeah, Ivan, maybe he did, it's in his pocket, ha ha ha. And then he just kind of got depressed and sat down. As everyone was putting their napkins on their lap, there was that loud knock on the door that got everyone alarmed. And Ivan remembered, it's just my froggy riding in her box. So the guards went to the gate, opened the gate, and as the gate was opening, a big horse carriage drawn by 6 white horses rolled into the court, and out stepped Vasilia in a blue silk dress strewn with stars and a headpiece glowing like the moon. She was absolutely gorgeous, and everyone was just stunned. So everyone sat down, had dinner, and drank wine. Something very peculiar about how she drank wine. She always left a little bit in the glass and poured it into the left sleeve. And whenever she ate swan meat, she always threw the bones into her right sleeve. Now the other two wives saw what she was doing and tried to copy her, because thinking, hey, if she's doing it for a reason, let's do it for the same reason. Then came time to dance. Vasilia took Ivan's hand onto the dance floor, and she was a wonderful dancer, twirled and utterly graceful. And in one of her spins, she waved her left arm, and a lake appeared in the middle of the court. In one of her other spins, she waved her right arm, and swans were swimming in the lake. The other two wives tried to copy her. They were dancing with their princes, and then when they waved their left arm, wine splashed all over the guests. When they waved their right arm, bones flew out and hit the guests. And one chicken bone in particular flew and hit the king right in the forehead, and he threw a rage. He threw a major fit and sent the other two daughters away, the two wives away. Meanwhile, Ivan had gone back to his room, and he saw the frog skins laying on the floor by the fireplace. And he just picked it up, realizing what it was, and threw it into the fire. Moments later, Vasilia walked in and asked Ivan, she looked frantic. She asked Ivan, have you seen my frog skin? And then she saw it burning in the fire. He said, oh no, why did you do that? If only you had waited 3 more days, I would have been yours forever. And with that, she transformed into a cuckoo bird and flew out the window against her will. Seek me in the lands of Koshi the Deathless. And Ivan said, no! And he just didn't know what to do.